all good things must come to an end. And you can't always get what you want. Don't get your hopes up. And get real. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. And don't put all your eggs in one basket. These are just a few sayings we've heard over and over and over again ever since we were little. But I'm wondering, just because it's repeated by the millions of people, does that make them necessarily true? I think ever since we were little, it is ingrained in us to be normal. We don't want to stand out. And in Dutch we have a saying about that. Doe maar normaal, dan doe je al gek genoeg. And it means something like, act normal, that's crazy enough. And ever since we were little, we're trying to dress the same, to listen to the same music, because we're scared of standing out, because we don't want to be weird. Because you might get bullied when you're weird. And in Australia, you call that the tall puppy syndrome. And in Dutch, we have a few of our own sayings. Wie zijn kop boven het maaiveld uitsteekt, wordt zijn kop eraf gehakt. Who sticks their head out of the grass, gets their head chopped off. Or, hoge bomen vangen veel wind. Higher trees catch more wind. But just because we keep on repeating that we have to be normal, does that make it valid? I think it doesn't really make any sense anymore not to stick out. I can imagine old reasons. For example, when we were living in tribes, and there was one of the guys, he was like a real lone wolf, always wandering off by himself, endangering the rest of the tribe. Yeah, maybe please don't stand out. But right now, in our contemporary society, it really doesn't make sense. And isn't it funny that when we're 4 years old and you say, I want to be a singer when I grow up, that people will tell you, oh, that's good for you. You can be anything you want to be when you grow up. But then, when you're 15 or 16 and you say, I want to be a singer when I grow up, then people are like, you're probably really talented, but it's really hard. And you'll just be one of many trying. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I'm sure parents are acting out of love. And they think it's best for their children when they're preparing them for life struggles by being practical, which is the alternative of following your dreams. But why did we get so obsessed with not failing? And why is so much of language an exercise in caution? My name is Britt Pols, and I'm a singer and a songwriter, and I've always known I wanted to be a singer ever since I was 4 years old. But life happened and I got really scared. I'm full of doubts and fears, and I'm scared of a lot of things. I'm scared that I'm not good enough to be a singer. I'm scared to be a financial failure. And I'm really scared of other people's opinions. And before I put all my eggs in one basket, I had a really nice job, actually. I was working in sustainability, and I loved doing that because I felt like I was making the world a nicer place. But still, one morning I woke up, and I felt really burned out. And that's the point where I said, okay, I'm going to stop lying to myself. And I realized that I was ignoring this feeling inside that I felt for a really long time. The feeling of not living up to your full expectations. And I felt really shit about that. And I told myself, okay, this feeling cannot be reversed. You have to change something now, or it will keep on being like this. So I made a decision to pursue my singing career. And so I am. I do that in a very unconventional way. And I'm just saying that it's unconventional because I didn't get famous through a talent show on television. Instead, I recorded an album, and then it took a while, and then I eventually found the courage to self-publish it, however slim the chances of success were. And people have always called me blindly optimistic. And that's fine. Because I realize you can't always foresee the future, or actually can never foresee the future. So if you can envision it yourself, why don't think of it as beautiful? And So I use PollyAnna as an artist name to remind myself of my true optimistic nature for when the going gets rough. Now, things have been working out for me and I'm really happy about that. But that doesn't mean that I'm never scared anymore. I'm still scared and I'm full of doubts and fears. And sometimes when I'm on stage, I still think I'm not good enough. And sometimes at the end of the month, I am in a very uncomfortable financial situation, actually. And also, sometimes people tell me things that I really don't want to hear because people love sharing their opinion. And you know what? That's all fine by me because I learned two things. And the first thing is that all these doubts and fears and feeling uncomfortable is never as distressing as that feeling is when you're not living your fullest life. And the second one is that I actually invite fear to come in my life because when I feel life rushing through me, I know that I'm doing new things. I'm exploring, I'm going out of my comfort zone, and I'm developing. And I know that is where I want to be, that is where I find happiness. So, I allowed myself to dream big, and sometimes I allow myself to dream even bigger. And I have one pet hate. And my pet hate is when people tell me to be realistic, because I'm absolutely not realistic. If you tell me to be realistic, I really want to give you a high five in the face with that one. Yeah, because I'm not. Because it doesn't help me at all to be realistic. Because everyone is being realistic. And if you're trying to chase a dream in the pool of realistic dreams, there's so much competition because everyone is already there. So why not aim a little higher? I think that's easier. But then people call me naive. And naivety has somewhat of a bad rap, especially with women, because it indicates that you don't know what you're talking about. Like you haven't weighed up the consequences or the possible bad outcomes. And in Dutch we have another nice saying. Ga er maar niet van uit, dan kan het altijd meevallen. And I don't even know how to translate that because it's so weird. Assume the worst so you can only be relieved by the outcome. Is that really stupid? Or is that me? I don't know why you would say that. Because if you're assuming the worst, how can you ever get working on something? And how can you ever try to reach your goals? That's impossible if you ask me. Because if you allow yourself to dream a bit bigger and say, okay, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna make it, then maybe you will take that extra step that you need to make it. So I think that's really strange. And okay, maybe naivety has somewhat of a bad rap, but I actually like to be naive. And I think I'm consciously naive, and I think it's okay to be consciously naive. And I'm not saying you should be ignorant to the world's problems. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I think you have a choice on what to focus on. Because you can focus on a diatribe of horrible news coming at you constantly, or you make an informed decision to focus on the good. And I truly believe that the good always outsmarts the bad. And also I truly believe that what you put your focus on will grow for you in life. And the same goes for your dreams. You can focus on how horrible things can get for you, or you can make an informed decision that despite how unexpected and perturbed things can get, you have a dream, you have a goal, and you're going to see it through to the end, ignoring all those doubts and fears. So yeah, yet to consciously naive. I really like that thought. And I think it's okay to say no to pessimism and to say no to negativity that's being handed out on street corners to you. I think that's okay. And while we're at it, do count your chickens before they hatch. Because that's something I learned as well from quick and unexpected success. That is just waiting for you right around the corner for you to come and pick it up. And you better be prepared. Because when you say, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst, that makes sense when you're talking about a natural disaster or something. But it really doesn't make sense if you're talking about getting a goal. Because it's really easy to prepare for the worst. is just saying, okay, we're gonna try this. And when things go south, I'm gonna be really sad. And that's okay. And I'm gonna lie in a bath of self-pity for an hour until my hands wrinkle. And then I come out and I get back to work and I'm gonna fix things. But preparing for success is a lot more work, because you don't want to stand on that Nobel Prize winning stage not knowing what to say. That looks really silly. I think it's really important to be prepared for success. So, I think all good things must come to an end. And I just want to remind you today of the words that are passing our lips each day and seem normal to us. Maybe it's good to reconsider them and see if they're still helping you. And maybe they are. That's fine. And maybe they're not. And we can change things around. So yeah, we say all good things must come to an end, but maybe we say all good things become somewhere today. Thank you so much.